G'day everybody, welcome to another boring episode, perhaps, of Kev's Workshop. What you're seeing in front of you at the moment is a DJH brand, New South Wales C36 class locomotive. And just to confirm down here, the data sheet drawings by Greg Edwards. It's in a plastic sleeve which makes it difficult to see with the light reflection off it. There we go, New South Wales C36 class. At the time of this particular video, I'm actually in the process of trying to stretch build another one of these. Now, I used to have one, and this one used to be my old C36 class. It took me 3 months to build this one. As a DJH kit, it's brass and white metal. Previously to this particular loco, I had scratch built one. It's a black one, no cab, no boiler, no smoke box, because it's representing 3617 in stripped down form. So I'm now having another go, another attempt, whatever you want to call it, at doing a C36. On my Kev's Workshop website, you'll see different progress shots, and in years to come from now, you probably won't see too many shots. But yeah, there's where I'm at. I started this around the beginning, or around January 2024. It's a fill-in project. What I've got down here is the new smoke box now done. Just had it on my lathe a moment ago. I've still got to build the cylinders for it. The wheels are K's brand, or K&S brand, which are for the N.S.W.G.R. That'll hopefully change over to the Romford wheels as soon as I can. The leading wheels are off a Lima 44 class, the front bogie wheels, made for the weight and everything. And there's the tender so far. Where I've got this at now in May 2024, I've got more detail to go, but I've got the rear hatch in for the water filler, got the vent pipe, the toolboxes, the handrails on one side. I've got the coal chute in and some of the footplate detail. There is more to be done, but whether I actually go to that drum or not, I don't know. Very soon I've got to get the drawbar done between the loco and tender. Then I've also got to come around and fit on a KD coupling to the back. Overall, this is where I am at the project, or with the project. I intend putting coal into the coal space. It's all going well. That'll look like a coaled up loco ready to run. Whether I get the motor and gearbox for it, or make my own arrangement, I don't know just yet. But this smoke box was made from some 26mm PVC pipe. Now, if I can find my offcut, there it is. There you go, folks, that's the original piece of pipe. These two pieces were in the lathe originally as one piece. So you can see here that was all one piece, so that's the part that I had in the lathe holding it, and then up here is the part that I machined down. So you can see that this has about one and a half mil wall, something like that. I'll have to check that. I brought down from 26mm down to 25mm, and then I've had to cut a section out of it so the smoke box will sit. This is getting in preparation for the next stage of the journey. There's my N.S.W.G.R C36 I built many years earlier. This would have been probably early 2000s, something like that. Behind there is 3001 in N.S.W.G.R. So 3642 and 3001. And by the way, 3642 is still preserved by the New South Wales Rail Transport Museum, and that's it there in full size. So yeah, this is what I'm working on. There's the N.S.W.G.R one from many years ago. It's using a cardo mechanism, but the bugger I sent the loco over to in order to do the gearbox arrangement for me nicked off with my motor and drive shaft, so I don't have that anymore. So that'll just sit on the bench getting dust until such time as I can get back onto it. I have built another C36 in N.S.W.G.R. That was using a different mechanism, so I might end up doing that. So yes, that's the C36 at this stage, 4 months into the build. And then behind it is a black 5, Hornby trying. And if I get the tender, different era tender no doubt, but there's different year of manufacture. Both Hornby. I think that was mid 70s, that one. This is probably late 80s. Yeah, mismatched, but that's how I bought it. However, at least you can get an idea. If I get this camera down and to the right angle for you. The motor sits up near the front end of the boiler. Drives the rear. It's a simple X04 motor. Typical Hornby trying frames. Hornby trying mechanism. And when you think of it, New South Wales C36 and the English Black 5s are very similar. So when you look here, that'll have to have its rods made up, cylinders made up, and everything else that goes with it. I've temporarily got the air tank sitting in place, so that's one of two. The other one's on the other side and a bit more difficult to see from this angle. But this is what I'm in the process of working on. It's not meant to be a quick job. Most of my stuff is done within 3 months, give or take. One of my locos took me 3 years, and it was done at a very traumatic time in my life. So for those of you who'd like to see these drawings again, yes, it's a bit perhaps not easy to see, but yes, you see the 36 looks. The cross-cut section shows all the baffles inside of the tender, the coal chute, everything. Now to get a hold of a copy of these, you want to look up data sheets. A guy called Greg Edwards in Canberra, Australia. He does these. They're on average about $6 a sheet, or $6.60 a sheet, something like that. They are done in HO scale. And not only that, it gives you the scale along the drawing, gives you the cross-sectional views, with and without details, gives all the front-end details, the back-end details, gives information as to how many were built, and as much information as you can possibly give you. That was his old address. I don't know if he's still in that address or not. Oh, this shows Port Macquarie on that one. But yeah, he actually lives in Canberra. But yeah, it must have been his previous address. But yes, it gives an idea. Placed in service 1953. Numbering class was 75, which is 3601 to 3675. Bit of interest. Now we've just got to try to find my photo, but I've got one around here. Here we go. 3616, 3675, and just trying to remember which other one. There's only 3 of them that were converted with this. It's called the Diesel ejector, and apparently out of the 3 that were converted to this arrangement, it was more a case of it gave better firing, greater steam power, everything. And even though it was more successful, I don't understand why more weren't converted, but I'm guessing these 3 were the test engines. So 3616 is also preserved by the New South Wales Rail Transport Museum. Bloody fine shot from the person who took this one. And you can see all the details. Yep, the wells up front, not spoked, they're disc with holes. So the Westinghouse compressor on the side of the smoke box. So this is all the detail that I will be having to put onto my model, just like I did previous ones. There's the air tank that I was telling you about, which you couldn't see on my model, which is the opposite side. For those who don't know Australian Railways in general, This is the fireman side, so the fireman operates this side and the driver is on the opposite. A bit like bloody Americans with their silly left-hand drive nonsense. Sorry, I say that in joking form too, folks. However, the way the Australian railways were, certainly in New South Wales, the driver was on the left-hand side of the engine, even into the diesel era. These tenders were built locally, just like the whole locomotive was built locally in Sydney, a place called Mort Dock. So these are what you call Mort Dock tenders. You can see some of the detail in this photo. So for the person who took the photo, thank you very much. A lot of good detail. I do have a book called 36, which tells all about the 36 classes. It tells us about the 3 that were converted, and it's done through Everly Press. So for those of you wanting to find out information on these, well, this particular loco and any other 36s, at least you can find a lot of information through Everly Press. So that is one of many photos. If I drop this one in front, there's the back view of my old DJH 36, which I wish I still had. And the old DJH kit, if I could get a hold of them, I'd love to get another one for sure. To the bastard that stole my 36, you know who you are. I just wish I had it back. That's the front view that I showed you earlier. When DJH did these kits, they were so highly detailed, it's like looking at a ready-to-run brass model. But yeah, all the details that were in this, all the check valves up top, all the pipe work, headlight, the rivet detail, everything. These were a gorgeous kit, painted or unpainted. My paint job here on the air cylinders and that wasn't the greatest. So, and those I've ended up using some decals for that. But that's all I had left was the decals for the tender. So not having anything more, couldn't do the loco. That's generally how most of the 36s were in service use. Some of them are actually in black in their service use. So 3642 during 2024 has been restored by the Rail Transport Museum at Thelmere, south of Sydney, and is currently painted black. So that's how they were post passenger services and into the freight services. So don't be surprised to see them painted black or green. In this case, black and green. Just got to change camera shots and I'll come back to you. Okay, it's a bit of a close-up view of my bad work, you could see. Now, for those of you into scratch building, a bit like I do, if you can't buy it, you've got to make it yourself. I don't have access to those beautifully machined handrail stanchions, so I've made my own. The point of this particular video is to show how I did it. If you come in closely enough, all this is made through twist tie wire. As you see, this one's been used previously for twisting things, but I'll get all that sorted out before the loco is finished. On the front end, we can get in close enough. You can sort of see some of the other detail. So what I've done in order to get that, and even these sets of handrails here, just get this focused. That's because the camera's going to give me. But yeah, all this handrail work, so I've got one on the other side, hasn't been finished. All you've got to do is strip the clear plastic insulation off, get yourself down to the very fine wire, and then do pigtails. Once you've made a loop in the wire, and you do them all the same, this is what you end up with. The better the quality of your work, the better quality it'll be. This might not look the best at the moment, but this will give you an idea what I have achieved. All these bits on the inside, you can see the tails on here. all those will get trimmed back later, so then there'll be no more risk of being scratched. I make them over length on purpose, and the idea is that when you make them over length, you've got room to trim it back. There's the opposite side so far. As you can see, I've got 3 of them done. You see how many more I've got to go. So it's roughly 14, 15 a side, 76 down the side. You've got the end where it goes back into the rear bulkhead. So you go 6 down there. There's another 2 at the front. So there's 8. So yeah, should be about 16 or 15, 16 all up. The handbrake, I'm using the same twist tie wire. You can see there's only one arm on that brake wheel. A bit later on there's going to be another 3 added, making it a 4-spoke brake wheel. And these are just some old Roundhouse brand bogies which are very, very close. So it's all scratch built, except for the bogies of course. And I've got the screw put in at the moment, which will be where the drawbar goes onto. So at the moment you can see through the tender into its inside. That'll be filled at the back with coal, so it looks like coal's coming out onto the coal chute. So this part of the project so far. It's only a short video today, so all going well. Get this thing back on the track. Trying to hold the camera at the same time, but never mind. So yeah, the details I've put here in the back. I've got the water hatch. I've got the handles to lift it with. There are some hinges to go onto that. I've got the hinges onto the back of the toolbox there so you can see it. This one here is not going to be really seeable, but yeah, never mind. I'm just using an old nail for the time being with a flat head. That should be dome shaped, which I shall get onto hopefully soon. Then that'll have the bell shape to the top of it. That's the vent pipe, that nail. So yeah, by comparison, I was going to convert that across to a C36. I might still have a go at that later on, I don't know, but being an old Hornby trying, I might keep it original, well, it's close to. So there you go folks, this is my video for you. As I say, it's only a short one. So yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy what I'm doing, and I'll just do another camera shot in a moment to show how I've done the stanchions. Okay, you see the twist tie wire, still with this plastic sheath around it, and the wire that I've already stripped bare. So if I can get the plastic pieces for you, at least one of them. That's the plastic that I've already stripped off. It's flat with a little speed up type of bit in the middle. You don't want to worry about that. So by the time you've taken that off and you got back to there, this wire is bendable to just about every different angle that you need it or want it. That is why I'm using it. Okay, now very soon I'll show you the pigtail part. So the camera at rests on the bench, my belly table. You may be able to just see this little pair of pliers. And it just pokes through just enough at the bottom. So I'll bring that up for you. Not necessarily easy for you to see. Get this dark background to you. Might make it a bit easier. All I do, bend that over 90 degrees. Once I've got that, I'll bring it right to the end of the grips, whichever you want to call it, and I end up with like a J. I know my camera's finding it difficult to see. There you go. That's basically stanchion half made. It's going to be very fiddly. A lot of swearing and cursing can occur at this point of the job. And yeah, it's one of those things that you want to get right no matter how much you try. It's hard for you to see what I'm doing at the moment. I'll be able to show you a bit more clearly in a short while. But hopefully you can see that. I'll come down here, there's camera to focus. Here's a handrail stanchion. So we'll get this to focus up for you. Camera really does not want to play ball, does it? Right. That's a little bit better for you. That's all I'm doing. Apart from trying to get the camera to focus. But that's all my handrail stanchions are. Basically that. Simple pigtail. Hey, the camera's playing ball for a little bit. Now to ensure that the loop is going to be correct, what I've got done, I've got this little piece of wire already twisted up. Formed one end into a triangle and left the rest of it straight. The idea is that's my sample handrail. If this stanchion is at the correct diameter, that should slot straight through properly. If my eyes would focus, it would go on properly too. I think my eyes are getting as out of focus as my camera. So there you go. So what you're doing is feeding the handrail through that pigtail, and what you want to do while this is on here, might be just sort of visible to you. All I'm going to do is close that pigtail down so it's a nice tight fit. I'm going to sample this first one for you. And I'm a little out of view here for you. Alright, get myself back into what needs to be done. Alright, almost there folks. Right, still a little bit on the sloppy side, but that can be adjusted. So I'm just trying to do for you at the moment. Right, that's a lot better now than it was. Okay, so it's our sample handrail with our stanchion on board. Don't worry about the end of it bending, it doesn't matter. It's only just to fit it on. Once that is done, if you have a pair of very sort of small side cutters, these ones we use in the hobby for cutting track, wires and just about anything else. Being that spring loaded, they open up by themselves of course. Just go up to where the tail is. Oh, bear with me a minute folks, just lost grip of the damn thing. Right, so just hope you can see that. Coming from the tail end. So I've cut, removed my main feed, right there, right about there should be the handrail stanchion sitting on the test piece. Camera's not playing as it should, but hopefully you get the general idea. So that will now go onto the locomotive, and that'll be fed onto the actual handrail. So yeah, it's a bit better for you hopefully. The camera's having a pain in the bum of trying to focus in for you. So that's my sample with the stanchion on board. Now snip that off there. And hopefully I'll be able to show you the stanchion. Being that it's very tiny and the camera doesn't nearly or really want to focus. See right between the end of the pliers. I apologise if you can't see it too well. So I just got to hope you can understand that. All the loop comes out, down and up. So when I fit this to the locomotive, I have to fit them all the same way, otherwise they'll be out of place. So, just bear with me a moment. Try this into a better position for you. If I fit this upside down from this point of view, then it should be able to rotate into its correct position. What you may not be able to see on the plastic, certainly this camera shot, you might not see where I've already pre-drilled. I've got one of these little drills. The handle on the end rotates separately to the rest of it, so I can grip it and twist it. It's got a number drill in there. I can't remember what number drill I'm using, but it's easy, around 1/2 mil. Just to show, up here's where I've already pre-drilled. Right, so they're all pre-drilled all the way through. For the hardest part, this is why I use a toothpick, because the metal itself becomes magnetised, or is magnetised. Therefore I start swearing and cursing. If I put it on there incorrectly, I'll soon know about it. Bear with me a minute, I'm just got to get my extra eyeballs out. And I've put it on upside down. That's bloody brilliant, haven't I? Apologies if you can't see this clearly at the moment. So, I'll be able to show you. And the moment. Hopefully all going well. So you can see here, that's existing as these other two are. I've got to go into this hole here. So it comes out through the plastic, around the loop and trimmed off. So that's got to go into there. It's not necessarily the easiest thing to see. When you're doing scale modelling and when you're doing something that's tiny and very fiddly, that's what you're looking at. A lot of time consumption. Providing this goes right for me, I should be alright. This is part of the reason also why custom built models can be so expensive, purely because of the amount of time that's taken to get these things to do what they need to do. Yeah, it's in. There it is there now. So, it's made mine would say a little dabble do ya. Drop a super glue on the back end. Put that lid on before it dribbles everywhere. So we can sit that where it needs to be. Okay. Try and make this available so you can see what I'm doing. I've got to hold that in place in such a way that when the glue dries, this one takes a little bit to dry, but the old super glue gel gives you a couple of minutes worth of working time before it dries. This is basically the process I've had to do 6 times down the other side. It'll be 6 times down this side. There's 2 on the front, of course. There's another 2 to go this side. Once I've got that down, I can straighten up the handrails. And then once I've got all the handrails straightened, a little drop of super glue on each of these loops. And then when I come to painting it, hopefully the little drops of glue will look like machined knobs. And I've got to have all this loose to start with, and then once I can position that handrail where it needs to be positioned, I can then go, right, that can all be glued in place and done. There you go. It's now 4 in place on this side, another 2 more to go. I'm not going to bore you with the details working on that, but from here you can see the finished accomplishments and the side that's still in progress. So for those of you out there wishing to tackle scratch building, everything is a box. It's got a length, it's got a width, and it's got a height. So realistically, if I can chase this thing around, so realistically there's your height, and there's like the chassis height, the body height, the bogie height and all that. So everything is a box. There's another good way of looking at it. Length, width and height, seen from different angles. When this gets finished, I've got some stick-on rivets to put onto it. So hopefully self-adhesive rivets, yeah, don't sound like a frog there, but certainly the self-adhesive rivets which you can get from Micromark, I can stick them on and then I can paint it hopefully with rivet detail in place. I do hope this has been an interesting video for you. Probably won't do much more on this particular project as far as video work's concerned, but certainly at least with this it'll give you an idea how to do handrail stanchions. If you need any help, go to my Kev's Workshop website, which is locoman.free.nf. So free as in being given away for free, and NF as in Nelly Furtado, I don't know, something like that. So basically folks, if you look at the Kev's Workshop website, you'll see all the other photos I've got, either of this particular build or someone else's build, or it's like something I'm building with someone else, or whatever I happen to be on. My current projects page is always changing. This will probably go into the New South Wales page a bit later. So when you go on the website, you've got all your what do you call it, main index page with all its offshoot links, and then with the offshoot links you've got about 30 pages worth of website, or 33 odd pages worth of website, but that's roughly the C36 build so far. Hope you've enjoyed this bit of video, and I'll catch you back at a bit later. Bye.